Hello, this is Talmir and welcome to another repair video. In this video we're working on repairing an iPad 7, as you can see. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be replacing the charge port. Now this isn't the easiest job to do, as you actually have to solder it in place right from the ribbon cable itself. So it's this critter right here. So step one is just going to be taking the screen off, the digitizer and the screen out, putting that to the side, putting it somewhere where you can keep it clean, and then from there going to go and switch over to getting this soldered in place. So let's get started. To begin with, just going to shut it off, and then we're going to have to heat up this part of the adhesive all along here. Now to get it started, once we have a part of it heated up, I do find it works quite well to use a chisel blade just to get into a section, and then after that use one of these plastic cards. I might use a newer one, and we should be able to get it open quite easily. So let's get this heated up. Now, something that you should remember is how these tablets open up. As far as I can remember, there are cables on this side of the tablet, right on this part. And when you're getting this tablet open, everywhere else is relatively easy to get started. But you want to be really careful right around this area here. So what I'm doing is I'm heating up the whole tablet for now. And then once the tablet, I'd say decently, like not extremely hot, but relatively hot to the touch, like more than warm, then I'm going to start focusing on one particular area just to get things started. And it does help a lot to have a little bit of alcohol in there, and just drop a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I use 99%. Okay, that is more than warm. So let's get started right here, starting in this corner. I might even just start off immediately by putting a drop of alcohol in there. You want to be very careful. You're getting that blade in, you're just pushing down and then you're lifting up, but you're lifting up very, very lightly. Now even at this point, it hasn't gone particularly deep. And I'm going to put another drop of alcohol in there. Just put it on the blade. And you're going to shimmy it on in. If you try to force this too much, you may actually break the glass. Really don't want that. There, see that? So this is where you're gonna start getting one of these cards on in there. Put it in beside there. You see how easy that goes in right there? So I can take the blade out. I don't need that in there anymore. And I can start slipping it along the side. So that's really all you need to do. Just put a little drop of alcohol and you're just running it along here. Each time you start feeling a lot of resistance, you can put another drop of alcohol. Also, what really helps is if you're finding it really tough, add a little bit more heat. I'm actually going to do that right now. So it's just barely hot to the touch. There we go. That should be hot to the touch. Another drop of alcohol. You don't want to put the card in too far, as the farther you go in, the closer you get to that screen. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about there. I'm just going to poke it out just enough so you can see the edge of it going in towards the screen there. You see that right there? You can just see it poking out just on the edge. So you don't want it to be out in that area there. That's a danger zone. At that point there, it is floating, but don't take the chance. The corner is a little bit on the tough side. I find that it helps also. I mean, it's gone back to warm. It does help to go and put a little bit more heat in. Just like that. Hot to the touch, but not burning. Just slightly hot to the touch. There we go. Look at that. Sliding in cozy like. Okay, I'm going to back out slightly. I think it needs more heat. When you go up to around this button, you can go on the shallow side. You only need a few millimeters in there. Right around here, I'm going to need more heat. When I get to this edge, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go any further. The reason why is, once again, you got cables down there, so that's why you're going to want to stop around this section. So I'm going to cut along here with the plastic card. That's it for that side. We've got it all out on this part. It's all lifted. Now when you get up to this bit here, I'm going to heat this back up, but right around here you got that camera lens, and there is some adhesive right around the top there, so you do need to be a little bit careful. So you'll run around there the same way that it did the bottom, and then you're going to go up around the top just like we did the button. These corners are always a bit difficult when you're just getting started into there. You just got to be patient. Work it around. And as always with this bit, be careful. Really wanting to make sure that we don't break this digitizer. And it feels like it's just taking too much effort to get through. Just pull back, put the card in, add some more heat. Finally getting over to this side right here, and you'll notice how little I'm putting in there, just like the other side really, but you got to be super careful. I'm barely putting any in. I'm just putting like 3 millimeters in and running it along. Lots of alcohol. It's burning my fingers a little bit, to be honest, but you got to be super careful on this side. Okay, it should be more or less separated. I might have to touch up some spots because they're gluing themselves back down. I think I'm going to have to apply some heat to that lens there. I know that there is a plastic piece that goes around the lens, and it's got a little bit of adhesive on it. And just gotta keep at it till it comes loose. There we go. That side's clear. Had to go around and a little bit over the lens, it seems, for that one. This one right here, it's got a piece of that seal kind of stuck there. So I need to cut that with this razor blade. Just ever so slightly, just cut it. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a new seal for this. Generally speaking with the iPad, so the seal is pretty darn good. So I may not even need to worry about putting a new seal on it. I do have, there's actually a screw loose in there. That's no good. Okay, that came loose. I do have glue that can help me out with this. Now I'm just going to use my tweezers to get rid of this. You want to be really careful with that screen. There's going to be dust on it. There's not much you can do about that. Just be careful. And afterwards, when we get to the point where we're ready to put it all back together, we're going to take that screen and we're going to be using this little puffer to go and get rid of the dust off of the screen as we go. And you can also use a piece of tape as well that can help remove the pieces of dust that get stuck to the screen. So there's, you see that cable right there. That's what you really are needing to be careful of. Now where did that screw... Oh. The screws have loosened on the charge port. I don't know if you can see that or not, but here, right here is one screw. And there's another screw. These are coming right out of the charge port. That one's not coming out. It is loose though. It's about, I'd say about 1 millimeter out from where it should be. So we're going to take the screen out and the digitizer, and we're going to put that to the side. I'm just going to take this thing of screws I love to use for holding screens up. We're going to use that adhesive that covers the screws in the corners. And you just put it to the side for now. Just need to uncover it a little bit. Glue on that is so sticky. Now the screen is a bit tough to get out, and that's because there is glue that holds, not exactly glue, it's almost like a hot glue gun kind of glue. And how you get this screen out to deal with that is you just lift at the corners very lightly and very carefully. You just gotta pry it up carefully. There we go, there's one corner up. This is the part that I'm always most scared of. I've never broken one of these screens before, but I really don't want there to be a first. There. There we go. Very good. All you need to do is take this little plate off. Now, I've seen some people quite often take this little thing, that screw it there, and they'll put a card underneath, and that disconnects the battery from the tablet. And I've actually had more problems with that than it's been worth. So, although it's not recommended, because you're having the screen still connected, I do find that it is a better choice just to leave it as is. Make sure that the tablet's turned off, and you should be okay. I'm going to see if I can leave the digitizer in place. What I'm really going to need to take out is the screen. I do need to absolutely take out that screen. Put it somewhere safe, like super safe. I also like to go and take a piece of paper. I'm just blowing the dust off of it right now. I like to take a piece of paper and put it over top of it, a piece of printer paper. Okay, let's see if we can get in here with our screwdriver. Where's that screw that I put to the side? There it is, right here. So there's our charge port. Let's just see if this is all that's needed. It'd be beautiful if I don't actually need to solder this. Because you can see, like, this whole part here, this all needs to be removed if I'm going to be soldering this. Okay, that's in. Let's reconnect that screen. Partially reassembled. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to plug it on in, and we're just going to see whether or not it's constantly disconnecting like before. Like, I needed to put a little bit of pressure upwards just to keep that port connected. Of course, you guys want to see me do the charge port swap. And on my part, I really don't want to. It's a pain. Okay, you see it's at 67% right now. That's not the important thing. The important thing is whether or not I need to fiddle with this charge connector. So right now, it's good and solid. Down here, it's not wiggling around anymore. And I'm going up and down with it. Doing that a lot right now. And it seems to be fine. Going up and down, side to side. And that's solid. That right there is good and solid. So, unfortunately for you guys, I do not need to replace the charge port. I will save this for another job. But it is very clear that the issue was the fact that the screws had come loose inside the charge port. And those coming loose was just enough that when they pushed, the customer was pushing the cable on in, it was coming occasionally disconnected. It wasn't a proper fit. So that bit's done. Let's put this back together. Now, putting this back together, you're going to want to turn this off again, just to be on the safe side. Now, before you screw this screen back in, you're going to want to put the panel, you're going to want to put the shield back on. Now, it's going to be fiddly to do both of these at the same time, so I'm going to take another bunch of screws here and just hold the screen up with that. All right, we've got the seal all cleaned up. It's all back in place. Some of this fluff, I can't do much about it. I don't have a replacement for it, unfortunately. But got this for the most part cleaned up as well. You don't want any of this flying into the screen after you've got it all put together. And then you got to take this screen apart again, which is a real pain in the neck. If you see any fingerprints, make sure you remove them. A little bit harder with the digitizer since it actually has fingerprints on the other side of it. Definitely one of the hardest parts right here is trying to get all the dust off before you put it down. Now, you're going to notice that right along here, it's going to be super tough to get this to sit in place properly. So what works quite well is just to put some drops of alcohol in place, and it's going to loosen up that section right there so you can slip it back in place. And before you completely seal it all back up, just make sure you turn it back on and make sure that it is doing what it's supposed to be doing, such as turning on. As odd as that might seem, since it's been able to turn on this whole time, make sure it can turn on, make sure that the digitizer still works, that it can still receive feedback. It seems like everything is in order so far, and that when you plug the charge cable in on the bottom, double, triple, quadruple checking to make sure it is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I'm wiggling it a lot and it is not disconnecting at all. It's doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Great. So let's flatten this on down. Give it a good push. There we have it. That's done. Shocking as that is, didn't actually need to put in a new charge port. Wonderful. Thank you guys all for watching another repair video. If you like the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.